Welcome to Ghost of a Podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Lagnato. I'm an astrologer, psychic medium, and animal communicator, and I'm going to give you your weekly horoscope and no bullshit mystical advice for living your very best life. Babs, welcome to the podcast. What would you like a reading about?
Thank you. I'm so excited. My question is, am I using grief as an excuse? Recently, a very old and trusted friend told me that I'm not doing enough, that I am a leftist version of thoughts and prayers. My kiddo died 3 years ago, and I'm still struggling to get out of bed most days. I love my community, and I thought I was showing up as best as I can, but this conversation has left me wondering if my grief has become an excuse not to do more.
Okay. There's so much in the question. And of course I read the question, but hearing you say it is like there's just so much in this question. So before we get into like the deeper part of the question, I have a couple questions about this friend.
Okay.
So this is like a dear friend. This is a person you trust.
Yes.
And when they refer to the thoughts and prayers comment, are they basically saying you're not engaged in activism, you're not engaged in the world in like a critical way, you're doing spiritual work that doesn't land? Is that what? Because that's how I interpret that, but I don't know if that's what they meant.
A little bit. It's a combination of maybe not enough activism and just also I'm at this like crossroads of like intellectually understanding that I want to kind of move more plant-based vegan, and they've been vegan for quite a while. And them getting a little bit like impatient with that journey too, I think is a big contributing factor, but it's also like the activism and just showing up in the world in the moment.
So specifically, the veganism piece. Have you said to them, I want to be a vegan, I intend to be a vegan? And they are mad, it sounds, and critical that you've expressed clarity about wanting to go in that direction, but you haven't done it. Am I hearing that right?
Yeah.
And is their comment, do you think, primarily about veganism, or is it more about any of the pick your many other things?
I think for them, they're all very intertwined. Liberation is a very strong value of theirs. And so they don't really separate
I see.
What's going on from their veganism.
I see. And they project that value onto other people. Yeah. I see. Okay. So I'm just going to like share my perspective on something before we get into the particulars of you and of maybe of this relationship. But I want to say that when a person is driven by their convictions, right, whether we're talking about liberation work or veganism or any number of things, it is very easy for us to get like, my way is the way. And there's only one way. And whenever people express rigidity about how other people show up to movement work, liberation work, I have a red flag that comes up, and I want to just say, like, there's a lot in your question. There's a lot in like this accusation, which just kind of sounds like an accusation as opposed to the concern of a friend. Right. So I want to just say, like, there's something super rigid in either your friend and how they're communicating with you or how it's landing for you. And separate from the very intense topic that we're about to broach on around grief and the loss of a child, there's not only one way forward and there's not only one pace. In the practice of liberation work, there has to be room for showing up in some ways and not in others, right? Or like having intentions and meeting them at 30% for now or whatever. And when our friends judge us and say there's only one way to be, that is usually more about them than really about us, right? And so I'm not saying that there's not a value in having a conversation where a friend is like, hey, I'm concerned about you because you say you want to do X and you're not doing X. And are you really sad? And do you need help? It sounds like this person's like, grief is an excuse. And if that is in fact what they're saying, I couldn't disagree more. And that doesn't mean that your grief isn't also an excuse. Like maybe it is, but being aggressed upon or judged is not going to help you. And if they're your friend, I want to just express concern for you about why your friend isn't leading with a little more empathy. Does that track with your situation and with this
Yeah,
relationship? I wonder, again, we're really going to focus on the grief part because it's the you part. But before we do, I just want to see, is this friendship like, are you having questions about this friendship at all?
it's a tricky one. We've been friends like on and off, just like in each other's orbit since we were 14. So like
Mm,
it's been a long minute, and we both left the same church. We both have like similar backgrounds and strict upbringing, and we're both very leftist, ahead of the curve, like in the 2008 era when this wasn't really conversations, like we were having
mm-hmm,
those conversations already, and we didn't really have other people to have those conversations with. So there's a lot of history and a lot of trust and knowing in all of
mm-hmm,
that. Um, that makes it just very complicated when things like this come up. It's like, I thought you knew me a little bit better than this,
mm-hmm.
right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned church, and my experience, I'm not Christian. I was not raised really around I was raised around Christians because it's a Christian world, but I wasn't raised around the culture of religiosity. But my experience of it is that there's not a lot of room for grief within Christianity, within the church. It's like you be sad, you be pious about how sad you are, and then you turn your other cheek, you move on, you keep on being, a good Christian soldier sort of thing.
yeah, there's like almost this expectation of you're supposed to now like lead.
Yeah,
Like you've gone through these things that have made you so much stronger. And it's like there's almost this expectation that you are now supposed to like overcome and be above
yeah.
and like know more than
Right.
everybody else.
Well, it makes sense
And
from a Christian perspective, right? Like the person who's died is probably gone to heaven. If they've gone to heaven, then you should be happy for them. They're somewhere better. So you're not supposed to wallow in your grief because your grief is about you. So you had hardship and then you pull yourself up by your bootstraps. It's where, Christianity and white supremacy meet and it's gorgeous. Okay, we're being sarcastic. It's not gorgeous, but it is a fucking mess, right? And so, when I hear you say that you lost a child 3 years ago, and you're young. You're how old now?
I am 33.
So young to have a loss like that. I would not expect that you'd be like cool now because that's not how grief works. It's just not how grief works. And again, before we get into the stuff that's yours, I do want to say that whether or not your friend has a point, the way that they are relating to grief is worth having like exploratory conversation as people from a similar rigid background around religion because their expectation that you should feel a particular way and therefore you should be acting like they're acting is giving like problematic linear thinking. Okay, I'm trying to like not shit
Yeah.
on your friend in any way, and I want to hold space for if your friend had come to you and said, I'm really worried about you. I worry that you're wallowing. And I worry that you're not trying to help yourself. And I'm seeing you not live in accordance with your values. And I'm worried about where that's going to lead you. If they had expressed that, I would not be having this intervention right now with you about the friendship. Okay.
Yeah. And
And
that like hit my heart in a different way too, just
of
like the way that you
course,
said it. I'm like, oh yeah.
that actually makes sense. That actually makes
Hmm.
sense because for the first 6 months of grief, after someone dies, our friends and family rally around us. The world rallies around you. And then once we edge towards a year, 3 years, 7 years, the world's like, you're not done? You're not over it? And that's not how grief works after death. It's not how it works. And there's the pain of loss. And then there's the pain of everyone around you not seeing that there's a hole in your chest.
Exactly.
And having like a bestie who really gets you to be like, it's not a hole, move on, is fucked up. And it's okay that you can hold space for their perspective, but I want to hold space for you to feel entitled to having people who empathize and care, even if they want to call you in. This was an aggressive call out. It wasn't right. It wasn't correct what this person did, I'm going to say. And so there's something about this friendship that I want to encourage you to reflect on. Let me put it this way. A lot of times, the friends we make before we heal through our trauma are more a reflection of trauma than we realize.
Mhm.
And this person is deeply giving, like, which parent is it? Is it your dad? I can't tell. Which parent is it that this person's reminding me of? It's one of your two parents.
Oh, they have the same big three as my mom.
Okay, so it's your mom. So
Yeah.
they're giving mom, and not the best parts of your relationship with your mom, the worst parts, right? And whether or not this is something you talk to them about, I who like it's actually not what's important to me in this moment. What's important to me in this moment is that you give yourself the grace of recognizing, like, oh, this person who helped me heal from my relationship with my mom is now bringing up the exact same issues, telling me how I need to feel and what it looks like to be a good person, and that what I'm doing does not allow me to be a good person. Yeah, I'm right.
What a
Am I?
call out.
Thank you. Thank you. You're 33. And the 33rd year is the Christ year, right? It's the apex to the Saturn return. So the Saturn return happens around 29, and then it's over. Could have lasted a couple weeks, could have lasted off and on, for almost a year, but it's over. And then
Mhm.
30, 31, 32, you're living your life. 33, boom. And you get confronted with whatever you did not fully heal or work out in that 29th year. And
Okay.
this lines up, unfortunately, with the loss of a child for you. And so that 33 might be harder for you than 31 was or 32 was. Tracks for me.
Yeah, I actually, when we hit the third anniversary, I posted that like it's been so much harder recently than it was like after I hit that first year. I was like, okay, I'm gonna start putting my life back together, putting these pieces together. But like the third year being like more distant, he feels farther away,
Yeah.
life is moving on, is
It's,
another whole hard
it's
thing
another
to
fucking
accept.
horrible thing. And also, like, at the end of year one, you're like, oh, I can catch my breath. Oh, I can get out of bed. It's not like, oh, I'm healed. So you put things in place, right? You put things in place. But the problem with with the putting things in place, it was not that it was a mistake, it's that it creates an expectation. And in the world that we live in, you put something in place. Well, you're supposed to expand that, right? It's supposed to get bigger, right? You're supposed to do more, right? So you're supposed to be like climbing a ladder and getting higher and higher and higher. And when we are dealing with the grief of death, especially the loss of a child, every time you make a little bit of progress, it activates the grief. It tugs. It just tugs. And I don't know that we get over these kinds of losses. I think we learn to live with them. I have never encountered anyone who's like cool and moving on and like living as if everything is fine and nothing has changed after 3 years from a loss like this. And there's something super fucking wrong with our culture that we don't talk about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's very isolating
it's
to
so
be in
isolated.
long grief. It's very
It
isolating.
is. It is. And then going and talking to other people who are grieving over someone you don't know actually doesn't necessarily make it feel better. Like I know there's like grief groups, but that's not like actually the actual thing that we actually need is our friends to actually listen when we say we are fucking sad and there's nothing to do and there's nowhere to go and it's not changing quickly. The grief is like a slow growing tree that has dormant seasons. It's not like, a car ride from here to there. And your friend is really lacking in empathy, unfortunately. And maybe you haven't expressed what's going on for you. Maybe they just don't know. Maybe this is like a blind spot in their own like cultural and religious assumptions about the world. But I just want to say that like that's fucked up. you know, and it's okay that you feel hurt and mad, because that's fair. You're entitled to feel hurt and mad. And that doesn't mean we're not going to also talk about the question that it's kind of like scratched an itch on for you, which is hiding behind grief. I don't accept the premise of hiding behind grief actually exactly, but
Okay.
but I do and I don't. Like I think that there's an element here of like the question of like, are you wallowing? I want to hold space for that. But grief is monolithic and terrifying and isolating and all these things. So are you hiding behind grief? Nobody fucking hides behind grief. Do you wallow in the feelings of grief? Okay, maybe. And that's something we can talk about. So before we move on from the friend, I just want to check. Do you have any questions about that, or does that kind of land?
It really does land. We've had like a couple previous conversations about the like holier than thou complex that kind of lingers even after you leave the church of like
Mm-hmm.
we're better people, we're nicer people, we're good people.
Mm.
So it all kind of resonates into those concepts and maybe blind spots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, it might be worthy to ask your friend if they are a close friend to look at what other religious backgrounds and other cultures do in response to death and loss. Because, again, Christianity really doesn't offer much of a grieving plan. It's like, have a funeral. It's kind of like, it's not a whole lot else. After that, there was a death in my family not long ago, and it reminded me of like a Jewish tradition of we don't put the gravestone in until after a year, because the immediate family is not meant to confront the loss of the death for a year. I'm not religious. I don't really care about religion too much myself, but I've always really loved that as an idea, because as a medium, I see so much about bereavement. And again, I have never seen anyone like able to do much more than acknowledge loss in the first year. So 3 years, 7 years, 12 years. I mean, it's still a conversation.
Definitely.
So we have your birth chart. I can pull up your birth chart, but I don't think we need to go there yet. I guess I have a question for you, which is like, okay, so this friend has said this thing to you, and it's like stayed in your head. Do you have concerns that your thoughts and prayers saying things? Like, where do you resonate with this criticism?
I think with so much going on in the world, like there always feels like you could be doing more, right? Like none of us are sitting 24/7 doing activism and ringing the alarm. And
Yes, yeah.
like there's breaks that are built into that. And at the same time, like I am putting one foot in front of the other.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I should be stretching myself more. Maybe everybody is also having a hard time. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm different in that I've gone through this, but like I'm not the only one to have gone through something, and it's kind of a weird
Yeah.
space
So
to navigate.
could you name for me, and you don't have to, but like, do you have something like at the tip of your head about 3 things that you could be pushing yourself to do more than you're doing? Like something once a week, something once a month. Like, is there something in your head that you're like, oh, if I had more energy, I would be doing X?
The things that come up aren't so much like activism stuff, so much as I really want to show up more for like my people, my nesting partner,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to carry more of the weight there to be able to like build my own independence as
Mm.
we're getting further out feels like a big spot to stretch. And I feel like taking weight off of the people around me would be giving more to
I
community.
see.
Um,
Wait a second, wait
so
a
that's
second.
kind of
You're telling me that you have been feeling like if you weren't in so much pain and you didn't have so much need, that your friends and loved ones would be unencumbered to help other people. Am I hearing that?
a little bit, yeah.
This is really interesting. Does it sound different when I say it with
Yeah,
incredulousness in my voice? Okay, good. Okay, good. Again, there's this value you were raised with. You should need nothing. You should need nothing. You should have no emotions except for gratitude. You should be happy. And if you're not grateful and you're not happy, what are you? A burden? Ungrateful.
ungrateful is a big
Ungrateful.
one.
Yeah. I want to hold space for the beauty of gratitude. It is healing when we experience authentic gratitude. It is valuable to be able to share gratitude with others. But the guilt to gratitude pipeline is not a thing. Like there's no it's not like a thing. Am I right? Like how
Yeah.
often does guilt motivate authentic gratitude? It doesn't. It's obedience. What it does is creates obedience, right?
Yeah. I that's like such a childhood word for me is like, oh, she's so obedient. Like
Obedience, right? It's a
I'm not a
Christian
dog.
thing, right? Yeah, it's a Christian thing. I detest obedience. I am such a fan of willfulness and autonomy and mutual respect. Obedience is trashy, and I'm like not into it. And when I say trashy, I know there's like a word trashy. I meant like trash, like just trash. It's trash. I want to hold space for you didn't say that you would be vegan if you weren't so sad.
Yes, and
Hmm.
I feel like I would get more plant-based. I feel like it's steps. I'm autistic and I have
Hmm.
ARFID. So like my
What's
same foods,
ARFID?
avoidant restrictive food intake.
Ah,
So like I eat a lot of same foods. So it's
right.
less that I'm happy that I'm eating the thing and more that it's like the routine food that I always eat.
Totally,
So
totally,
like
totally. Yes.
and then the crappier I'm feeling, the more I'm going to lean into my same food.
I
So
see.
it kind of like perpetuates a thing.
There's
So
a
it's kind of,
relationship there. It's on the route to maybe eating vegan, but it's like there's so many steps in front of that for you,
yeah,
which your friend should know. Okay. So let me just slow that down. And I'm going to actually have you say your full name out loud for me.
okay.
The depth of your loyalty to your family of origin is really intense. You feel that you have to protect them from criticism, you have to protect family secrets. Like you have this very deep sense of duty to shield them from criticism. So you can criticize them and you want people to like be like, yeah, 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 if you're criticizing them, but you don't actually want anyone else to criticize them. And I want to just like
Yeah,
name that because it is a loyalty that you hold to their value system. It's not your value system, but it's their value system. It's appearances. What happened in your family and in your home life as you were growing up is not how it was presented to the world.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And there was this sense of like, I know the world will be cruel if X or Y is revealed. Therefore, I'm going to protect the family as I'm meant to. Am I seeing that correctly?
Yes, that's been a big thing I've been working on in therapy actually is like
Great.
that concept of like don't criticize my mommy.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
like she's my mommy and also like that's my mom
Yeah.
and she wasn't always the greatest. Like that
Complicated.
dichotomy is
It's
complicated. Yeah.
complicated. Was your dad like a community leader or something?
Very close. So my dad was in the military for a long time and then he
Mm,
retired and became a teacher
okay.
and he's still a teacher.
Okay. And it makes sense also that he's from the military based on what I'm seeing energetically. Again, it's like there's how you are meant to behave in public versus in private. It's interesting how much you talk about your mom and you're not naming your dad. That's fascinating to me.
My first therapist did not realize that my dad was in the picture until like 2 years in,
I'm
which
not
is kind of a
surprised.
reflection on her, on like, you didn't ask where my dad was, but
Right, right,
also
right. Yeah, but also
like
you
it just
didn't bring it
doesn't,
up.
yeah, it just doesn't,
Hmm.
it doesn't come up.
It's interesting. What this tells me, just separate from everything else, is you have historically been really good at living around elephants in rooms. You're like, there's no elephant. There's plenty of room in this tiny room with the huge elephant in it. I'm just going to live in the corner and it's fine. Right.
Yeah,
And so when confronted with the loss of your child, this is probably the biggest thing that you have been not been able to live around in the way that you have other experiences. And this loss is it's not just that it's changing you, it's that it's trying to change you. It's trying to help you to become a better advocate for yourself. Do you have other children?
I do. I have one other
Mm,
child.
child. And you said
Mhm.
nesting partner. What
Mhm.
what I've never heard that term. Do you just mean like your partner but you're not government married?
So I'm polyamorous.
Mhm.
So
Oh,
the
so the
partner that I live with is my nesting
nesting partner.
partner.
That makes sense. Okay. And you have other partners as well.
Yeah,
But this friend is not one of them.
it's complicated.
Okay.
It's very complicated.
Mhm. 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 The two children that you had were from this nesting partner or with this nesting partner.
No, I got married at 19 in the church.
Wow.
Yes. And had my first at 20, my second at 21, and then realized like we don't want to raise our kids in this actually, and we bailed.
Mhm.
Um, And to this day, the person that I married is still one of my very best, closest friends. But I realized
Awesome.
I was a lesbian. So
Right.
we failed on marriage
Yes.
eventually.
Yeah.
Um, but I adore him. He's a
Right.
wonderful dad and he's one of my favorite people. And everyone gets so confused. I'm like, this is my ex-husband, but like,
Right.
it is what it
And
is.
have you been able to share the grief with him?
We share quite a bit. He's got that Cancer Venus, so he's pretty
Mm-hmm.
emotionally into even more than I am
Yeah.
quite often. Um, so he really holds that safe space for like the big feelings and the big ugly crying. It's definitely a me and him thing.
Mm-hmm. It's an interesting answer you've given me. So many words. Do you share with him where you're at with your grief?
I used to more. He's
Mm-hmm.
recently had another baby with
I
his
see.
new partner,
Okay.
and so that support has kind of
It's shifted.
dwindled.
Okay.
Yeah,
And how recently did he have that child?
4 months.
Okay. So in the last year, his partner's been pregnant and now he has an infant.
Mhm.
And I just want to name that that makes sense, that that's part of the uptick in isolation and grief, right? Because
Mhm.
the partner that you would share this with, you need to like help him move on in the way he's doing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's like two different ways I want to take this conversation. So I'm just going to name that. One of them is, do you want me to check in with your child?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that would be yeah.
Okay. Okay. And the other one is, I feel like I need to say, it's not that I don't think that you have some habits that aren't serving you, that you just haven't challenged yourself around. It's not that I think you are perfect and there's nothing more you could be doing. It's not that I don't think that most of us, maybe not your perfect friend, but most of us are struggling to figure out what's enough. We're
Yeah.
struggling to like navigate the fear and the outrage and the heartbreak and all the things of the world and also find sustainable actions that actually help people and ourselves, right? All the things, all
Yeah.
the things. I'm not trying to say you're perfect. You're deeply imperfect, as am I, as is your fucking friend. Okay. But I am not seeing that you're using your grief as a shield. I came into this conversation really being open to you could. You could be. That's like a thing that a person could do. I kind of think you're reversing that. I think you're forcing yourself to be normal and to do things. And then you come home and you're like empty, empty, empty.
Yeah.
I actually think you are trying that voice that your friend articulated, you have that same voice inside of you and you give it too much space. Not enough space, too much space, I would say. Do you have a practice for connecting with your child?
A little bit. It's a tricky thing. I feel like his mom is in this little box and I keep her in this little box so I can do dishes
Function.
and
Yep.
go to work,
Yep.
right? And it felt less optional to let her out in the beginning.
Hmm.
And now it's more like I don't look forward to
Of
letting her out
course.
of the
Of
box.
course. Of course. Yeah.
It's so much and it's
Yes.
so heavy.
Yeah.
And then there's like a little bit of guilt with that too, of like, I'm not connecting with him like I used
Mm.
to. I'm not making time. And it
Yeah.
hurts.
Yeah. So I am going to give you the advice before we check in with him and some perspective. Let's start with the perspective. I'm a medium and I have speak with dead people, and I have never encountered a place called heaven. And in fact, when we are no longer in a body, there's no such thing as place. That's a material idea, right? When we are no longer in a body, there's no such thing as time either. And so because of that, somebody who's in spirit doesn't experience time. Oh, you used to talk to me a year ago and you don't talk to me now. I've never heard a dead person express that at all. Okay. What's really important is not that you create time or space to connect with him as a parent, but instead that you create time and space to tend to the reason for your compartmentalization.
Mhm.
Yeah. So let me say more.
Yeah, please.
The reason for your compartmentalization, and I'm not a psychologist and I don't have like a reference point for autism or anything else. I'm just going to use my reference points. Your reason for compartmentalization is in part because the pain is so great that what the fuck else are you going to do? And in part because you're committed, whether you need to be or not, I don't know, but you are committed to acting like everything's normal. You are committed. Now, clearly, based on your one friend, I know that that is partially coming from your community. They want you to get over it. They want you to move on. But that's also coming from you because you didn't come to me saying, this friend was so mean to me and they said this really fucked up thing. It has a grain of truth to it, but wow, they were so unkind to me. You didn't say that at all. And so you missed it because you're doing it to yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so within this, I want to just name that your reasons for compartmentalization deserve care and curiosity from you, right? And within that, I want to say this might be too much. This might be like an idea for you to fuck with your therapist. You may want to take a deeply like psychological approach. You might want to take a deeply woo approach. But creating space once a week that you ritualistically return to, if that's too much, once a month, that you ritualistically return to where you are alone. Maybe you're in a bathtub, maybe you're on a walk, maybe you're in your room with the door locked, whatevs. And you invite in the realities of where your heart's at in relationship to your grief.
It just like hit me that you're right, but also, oh no.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Ugh.
It's like what I'm saying is like hang out with a tsunami and be okay. Right? Like I know
Yeah.
what I'm saying. But the truth is that the tsunami, the amount of energy it takes to keep a tsunami away from you, to turn your back on a tsunami, yeah, of course, you're not doing all the things you could technically be doing. It takes so much energy to compartmentalize. We don't talk about that enough. It preserves your energy in some ways, but for me to pretend that something is not what it is takes force of will. And that force
Yeah.
of will is basically you saying to you, shut up, shut up, shut up. Don't feel too much. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. Shh, don't. So you're unconsciously reiterating a trauma that you fought so hard to avoid and to escape. And this is the problem with being immediately post Saturn return is you realize all the ways in which you unintentionally became the thing you were trying to leave behind in your childhood.
Yeah.
And so I am saying this as a medium. You can't do this for your son. This is not for your son. This is for you. Because if you do it for him, you're not actually doing it. It's motivated by guilt. So again, the guilt to gratitude pipeline is an illusion. It's not a real pipeline. Like it doesn't exist. So I'm going to check in with him. Will you say his name? And did you tell me how old he was?
He was 9.
And did you know he was going to pass?
Um, I knew about a week before. He was sick for 3 weeks, but it
Oh,
was out of
that's
nowhere. Like we
so
didn't know.
quick. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm seeing him correctly. Both really extroverted and also kind of like really introverted at the same time.
Yes.
And he was like very into shoes.
Yes.
Okay. He's like immediately showing me his shoes. Like immediately showing me like he loved shoes. And he's the elder child, eh?
Yes.
Was it something to do with his head?
Yeah. So he had liver failure, but liver failure is like it processes toxins, so then the toxins all go to your brain and terrible.
Oh
Anyway.
God, that's fucking awful. I'm so sorry. And it just
Yeah.
like out of I didn't even know that could happen to a child.
Yeah. It was horrifying. It
I'm
was
so
just a horrifying
sorry.
experience.
That is awful. I'm so sorry. He is showing me that it was his brain that he feels his brain killed him. Like his brain just was like, you're done, you're out. Okay. So there's like a number of things I want to tell you. He knew he was loved. This was not a child who was like, you don't love me. Like he knew he was loved. So something that I experience with people who've passed is that sometimes a person who's passed away is like very connected to this earth and this world after they die because of any number of factors. You know, it's not good, it's not bad, it's just a thing. And eventually what happens, and sometimes it happens immediately, is that a soul just evolves and like is where it is. It grows where it's planted, you know? I mean, that's a very material way of saying it, but they're harder to access in a way because they no longer resonate with their personalities as much.
Mm,
He's there.
mm,
He and I my experience as a medium is that kids are really good at dying. They don't have a sense of like control or entitlement like adults do. And so when their health all of a sudden changes or they're all of a sudden in spirit, they're just a lot more adaptable.
that makes
Um,
sense.
and he was already kind of like I mean, he was your child, but he wasn't raised with a lot of restriction and judgment. So he was kind of like a little wild and he was adaptable. He was like, sometimes he wasn't, but usually he was like, okay, we'll just do something different. If you were to try to tap in and feel him, you would have a really hard time feeling his presence at this point. Have you tried in the last, I'm getting about year and a half?
Yeah, I've noticed.
Yeah, he's not here the way he was, which is really good for him, not great for you as a mourning mother. He's I just want you to know he is showing me parts of himself when he thinks of it like before. Like
Mhm.
something happened to him. I wonder if his personality started changing in kind of surprising ways not long before he was like obviously sick. It was his brain. It was his brain was like just like different. And because he was a
Yeah.
kid, it was really hard to tell what the hell was happening. You
Mhm.
weren't mean to him about it though.
No,
No.
I thought he was just like he started having like deeper insights about stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, this just must be what happens as kids start getting towards like that preteen zone, right?
That's
With
what
like,
he's showing me that you just thought he was like becoming a teenager overnight. And what was happening was something in his he really like just shows me this as a brain thing, like something in his brain like like it slowed something down that he hadn't ever noticed in his perception. So he was always kind of like a reflective, introspective, kind of old soul kind of boy.
oh yeah,
But then not long before he was like very sick, something shifted in his perceptions. So you have this like meditation you do sometimes, and it's kind of like with a sun, like a really expansive sun.
hmm,
He's like the sun. He's like, he knows that meditation that and this means something to you. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah,
Okay. Cause he's like, he's showing me that he is like that sun now. He's like really big. He is not bad and he is not good. He is. You know what I mean? Like he has
yeah,
this really expansive, vibrant energy. And it's like what he's showing me is he's reunited with his wisdom. As a little boy, he was separated from a lot of it.
yeah.
And as he's in this soul state, he is deeply connected to it. And so that meditation is the best way to feel his presence as opposed to trying to tap into him. Because
I can,
yeah, the way that he is showing himself to me like is very hard to like feel the boy that he was.
yeah,
But it's because he's so much more in a state of oneness than he was, than any human could be. God, this thing in your family about protecting people is so intense.
it's a lot.
He's showing me some things about you, like just like on a spiritual level, but he doesn't want me to say them out loud because he doesn't want you to feel like in any kind of way criticize or, and it's not like he's seeing something critical. It's not even about that. He's just like, it's this weird protective, like, we just don't name it. We just don't say it out loud thing. Honestly, this is all your father. I don't know why you're so focused on your mother. This is 100% your father.
Yeah, it comes a lot from my dad is Black,
Mm-hmm.
and his parents, like, they're just very, like, we have to protect each other because, like, white people aren't going to protect us and the system's not going to protect us. We just, what
Mm-hmm.
happens in the house stays in the house is
Mm-hmm.
like a whole motto.
Is your mom Black
Like,
as well?
no,
Did he trust your mom?
yes,
Your son has this sense of like, I have to protect you. I can't say the obvious things. I can't say the subtle things. I can't say the new, like I can say it to you sometimes, but like it's this really intense protection thing. And it is, on the one hand, a really important coping mechanism that has kept your father's parents and your father safe in a variety of contexts. Like it's like, you know, no notes. And then on the other hand, it's like this thick, heavy, suffocating blanket that has been put upon everything. And it's really interesting to me that your son's way of showing up in this moment to talk to me so I can talk to you is in part to be like, I'm still putting that blanket, like I'm still, oh, I see. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, he just showed it to me. He just showed it to me. That's why, that's why your friend, you didn't notice it because your friend is demanding that you live under the blanket still. And you're like, well, yeah, that makes sense. Nobody should know about my child dying. Nobody should know about the horrors that I went through. Nobody should know about the horrors of grief. How dare I be out about that? And yeah, you got to talk to this friend. You got to talk to this friend. But also, so your nesting partner,
mhm,
they, is that the right
yeah,
pronoun? Okay. Were they there for all of this?
yes. So we had only been dating like 4 months.
Oh my God. They are there for you. I'm seeing that correctly, eh?
Yeah,
Okay. And they're not like, hurry up and get over it. They don't have that attitude. No,
no,
I can see that. Okay, great. Your son likes this person and also agrees with you about your concerns. Um, they're both true, and you don't need to make any decisions or changes at this time. Okay? Yeah.
he cracks me up.
He's
He's got a Gemini stellium, but a Cap rising and a Cap moon. So it's kind of like that old man and
yeah,
childhood vibe is just
totally.
so solid in him.
Totally. Yes. And also he like picks up on lots of nuances that a lot of other people wouldn't. So listen, he needs nothing. He needs nothing. There's nothing he needs from you. There's nothing that you can do that would make where he is worse or better. And where he is perfectly as it should be. He has absolutely no needs that are not well and organically attended to, which is not something that all people that I talk to who are passed away experience or communicate. I want to just say, it's not like this is my worldview of like all dead people or whatever. He's really well resourced. And this feeling that you have of like how to continue to parent somebody who's no longer with us, we want to give you this reframe of, instead of trying to parent him because he doesn't need parenting anymore, it's instead, can you find ways of living with your tsunami of sadness and grief and love and anger and all the things? Can you find a way to treat it less like an elephant in the room and more like a part of you? Because when you like compartmentalize off this part, it disconnects you from receiving his wisdom and his love and that flow of love that exists between you that is just shatters you, but also fills you up at the same time. It's like very hard to like, yeah, I'm sorry.
Good. It's a lot, but it's good.
It is a lot. It is, I'm so sorry. It is a lot. And he doesn't need you to do this on a timeline, but he's showing me that you have this one habit, and he's not telling me what it is because, again, protection. But this one habit, and he's showing it to me kind of like a square, it's like a sharp turn that is really not helping your life.
I think it's that I get these really good ideas and I run, 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 and I crash, and
Oh,
my idea falls flat.
I see, I see, I see, I see. Okay, cool, cool, cool. And is this something that happened before his loss as well?
A little bit. I've always had kind of an issue with like momentum,
Sure.
and
But it's
inertia,
but it's gotten
but it's def
worse. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Hold on. He's saying that's not it. That's not it. That's you just pushing yourself further than you're capable of going and then encountering a fucking wall.
Hmm,
That's all that is what he's saying. Is it doom scrolling? Is it okay?
could be.
It's doom scrolling. Okay. Because what's happening with this habit, and I'm not positive it's doom scrolling, but it might be. What's happening with this habit is that it's fragmenting your capacity for attention, and it's manufacturing emotion instead of tapping into the real feelings you have.
Mm,
So,
so,
yeah. So, unfortunately, what he's showing me is a little less time on social media, which is part of how you stay activated and engaged socially and politically, right? But I think what he's saying is more intentional time, and that when you have certain kinds of emotions come up, and he says you don't always know what they are immediately, but you always know what they are. It's important to recognize, oh, it's tapped into this well that I've spent a lot of energy avoiding. And I actually am going to give myself 30 seconds, like put your phone down. Just breathe and notice where those feelings are. Not because it connects you to him, because it doesn't. It connects you to you. And the more connected you are to you, the more connected you can be to him. You can't connect to him. You have to connect to you. Does that make sense?
yes,
Super
I
annoying.
hate it,
It's
but
the
yes.
stupidest thing I've ever said to you in a long line of stupid things I've been saying. But like, yeah. Okay, good.
Oh,
He says you just got it. Like something just clicked inside of you. He's like, okay, I don't have to say anything more about this. Okay, he does want me to talk to you about veganism. He doesn't want you to be a vegan. He doesn't want you to be a vegan. Did he love hamburgers? He's showing me
yeah.
hamburgers. He's just like, why would you stop eating hamburgers? And I agree with every ethical argument for veganism. Okay, sorry. He's like very into hamburgers.
He had a lot of food restrictions, and like a gluten-free bun and a hamburger is like
Like
good for
joy.
everybody.
It's joy. Exactly. He has this attitude about it, which is like, you can't do everything. So why are you doing something that's going to be like what's the point of doing that? Like he understands, but like he also is just like, why? It's the first thing he's shown me that I'm like, oh, he's a kid. But also he's not wrong, you know? I would say this is coming back to the laws that the good book insists upon may be right, but they're not always right for all people. And it's not actually your job to live according to all the laws. And I say that, but what I really mean is your friend might be right, but that doesn't mean your friend is right for you. And this is like, I'm really focusing on your friend partially because I'm a little horrified by the whole thing that happened there, but also because their voice lives inside of you because they got that rigidity from the same place you did. And this is unexplored, deconstructed shit. And it's narrating inside of you what you feel is too much. You shouldn't be feeling it. You shouldn't be asking for help. You should be doing it's a lot of fucking shoulds, is what I'm trying to get at here. And every time you catch yourself shoulding, I just would say catch it. Just catch it and ask yourself, is there a different, like, how would I say this to my son? Like, how would I say this to my child? Would I say to my child that they should be feeling differently or doing something more? Or, no, of course not, because that's shitty. So why say it to yourself? This is a practice, if you commit to it, that will take years before it becomes a reflex to not be a dick to yourself, right? So it takes
Right.
years of reframing and reframing and reframing and reframing until you're like, oh, I don't have to reframe. I caught it before. And let me pull up your chart. Hold on.
Okay.
This is your chart. You were born July 31st, 92 in Offutt, AFB, Nebraska at 6:48 p.m. So I pulled up your chart really quickly because I want to point to a couple things that are just about you. And they're not
Okay.
specific to your loss, but your loss is like fire alarms going off, right?
Yeah.
The first thing is you have your North Node in the 12th house, not the 6th house. And what this means is that adapting your behavior is not what you've come here to learn. It's tending to your spiritual and mental health, finding the truth, centering that truth with very 12th house vibes, empathy, care, spaciousness, right? And in your best moments, you do that. And in your worst moments, it's like a hyperfixation on actions and like little things that you can do to fix yourself. You also have a lot of other things in your chart that are really beautiful, but I'm just focusing on this. You've got this Saturn opposition to Venus, and Saturn and Venus both square to Pluto. So you have Pluto as the focal planet to a T square. You don't do breakups well. Like, if there's a song that you love, you will listen to it over and 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 over again until you don't like the song that much anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you do it because that's better for you than like listening to the song and missing the song. You don't like missing, you don't like longing, and you don't like loss. And we could spend 10 hours talking about where that comes from in your family origin. You could spend 30 years in therapy, and hopefully you will, because that's what therapy is for, talking about this stuff. But I wanted to bring this up because saying or doing something that could potentially end a relationship is devastating for you. You really do not enter into loss well. Like, it's just not your happy place. And so I want to just like acknowledge and name that, because if that's true, which clearly by your face it's true, right?
Yes.
Then the loss, and we can call it the sudden and violent loss of a child that you love with every fiber of your fucking being. It's like senseless and terrible. Yeah, you're going to be what some people could call slow to get over it. And I'm not going to call it slow. This is your pace. This is your pace. You experience loss and danger really deeply. Like, you experience it very deeply. And because of the depth of those feelings, it is really hard for you to stay with the feelings and then to let them go, because even letting go of your grief and letting go of your devastation, does that mean you've let go of him? Right? That's the thing that people who are always in such a rush to make other people get over their grief don't realize. Grief is the last thing that connects you, or so it seems, right? It's not true. I know it's not true, and hopefully you know it's not true, but also there's an element of that being true. And it's fucked up. Now, you have a beautiful Moon Jupiter conjunction, and all the astrology texts will tell you Moon Jupiter conjunction, you're happy, things go well for you, you're such a lucky thing. It's intercepted in your 8th house. It just means that you are constantly fixating on and obsessing on picking apart your emotions, and you can never do enough, and you're never supposed to feel bad. And if ever you feel bad, then it's a moral failing.
Mhm.
Again, this comes from your parents, both of your parents, not just your mom, not just your dad. They came to that place from different angles, like for different reasons, but they both came to that place.
Yeah.
And so you were loved, you were beloved as a child. And that doesn't mean you were treated in a way that was appropriate for you. And your child was beloved. It's all written in your chart, right? Your child is beloved. And both of your children are beloved. And also the pressure that you place on yourself to be in the sunshine with your love and never be at dusk or never be in darkness with your love is I would say slightly inhumane and completely unattainable. But it is a thing. The beauty of all of this is that you were able to show up because of these same, like that Saturn, Venus, Pluto fucked up thing that makes it so hard for you to let go. It also made it so that you were able to, the second you realized shit was going down with your son, you were able to show up. You like met the fucking emergency and you met it centering him and not you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do
You,
great in crisis.
yeah, you're fucking amazing. And you gave him what he needed. You didn't falter. You didn't skip a beat. You gave him everything he needed. And that same skill set needs to be turned inward now. And in this way, he's giving you something that you need, which is to choose yourself, even in your intensity, to recognize that your intensity is not bad. It's intensity. Yeah. I know it's fucking terrible and it's terrible. The other thing about this fucking Jupiter moon conjunction that I just want to say, Jupiter governs healing. Your capacity to heal is really profound. And that's part of why you fuck yourself up, because you pressure yourself to heal, because you know you can. But the process of healing, it's kind of like, you know, when you go to the ocean. Do you ever go to the ocean or like rivers?
Yeah, we're on
Okay, so you know
familiar.
this
Yeah.
works. Okay, and you know how like rocks and huge boulders, like their shape is changed by water.
Mhm.
That's you. You are the water, and you are the stone. If you try to force yourself to change, then you're not using your own nature, which is that eighth house and that 12th house water in your chart. It's just the water comes up on the rock and it doesn't seem like it's doing anything, and it pulls back and it doesn't seem like it's doing anything, but it keeps on, ebbing and flowing. And then the rock changes shape with time, but not through force, through consistency. And I want to say, for all that you are not a consistent person in a ton of ways, I can see, respect,
Yeah.
you were a consistent parent. You are I keep on saying were because I'm just seeing it through his eyes. I know you're still a parent. I don't want you to, sorry, I just want to be really clear.
Yeah.
It's like he's here. So I keep
Yeah.
on getting it from him.
Yeah.
He experienced you as a very consistent parent. Again,
I'm glad.
bananas, all over the place in your own way, but like not in the ways that mattered. Not in like he was provided for in such like he always knew where he stood. He always knew where he was. And I don't know if you realize how powerful that is.
I think parenting is like one of my more confident ways that I show up. And I think it's also a way I show up like in the state of the world, right?
Yeah.
Is raising kids who are still loved and who know who they are and know how to
Yes.
be kind to other people
Yeah.
and also know their own autonomy and authority. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I kind of lean back on that when I feel
So
I'm
here's
not
the
doing too much.
problem. You've taken yourself out of this. You're not parenting you. So again, this is where he keeps on showing me that's what this is. That's the time it is to figure out how to parent you, which will pull you further from certain kinds of actions potentially for a period of time so that you can then come to them in a sustainable way. It's like power of water. It's power of water, right? It's not force, it's flow. And that's where you are. It's finding, okay, even like with the restricted eating stuff that you named earlier, it's like, okay, I don't know the medical side of it, so I don't want to like speak to anything diagnostically or whatever, but I will say, okay, you can focus on the restrictions of it, or you can say, I have a flow with these 5 foods. I have a flow with these 5 foods, and I'm going to let myself experience the flow of these 5 foods. Instead of saying, oh, I'm restricted and I'm going to focus on everything I'm not flowing with. What if there's like a subtle reframe that gave you permission to be when you are, who you are, where you are? Instead of focusing on the shape that your rock isn't, focus on the shape that your rock is. That's what you would
I
give
like
your
that.
children.
Yes,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I know it doesn't sound like this is activism, but the sustainability of your ways of showing up in the world require you. So if you're destroyed and like carved into pieces so you can cope, then there's going to be a big drop off on your capacity, right? And that's what your friend inelegantly is naming, that there's a drop off in your capacity. And
Yeah.
what I want to say is that's a time to spend more energy nurturing your capacity instead of focusing outward. Your son's like, okay, mom gets it. Like, okay, your son's like, okay, stop talking about the friend. But I'm concerned about the friend. Okay, fine. Okay, he tells me to stop talking about the friend. I listen to him. Okay, sorry. He says, do you have any questions? He told me to make room for questions.
I don't really have a question for him. I'm happy he's where he needs to be.
Yeah.
I'm also happy I got to say hi.
Mm-hmm.
For you, I am curious about, I know Uranus is coming up conjunct my Mars, trine Pluto,
Okay, let's go
and
back to the
I'm
chart.
a little nervous about it.
Here's some news for you. Pluto's already squaring your midheaven. Why aren't you concerned about that? That's fucking up
I
your
am concerned
life.
about that one
Okay,
too,
cool. I'm just making sure. Listen, Uranus conjunct Mars is kind of exciting. It is possible that it will stimulate your nervous system or your body in a way that activates pre-existing conditions or activates something. I wouldn't like worry about it. I would just be mindful of it, right?
Mhm.
Uranus conjunction to Mars gives you some fucking zhuzh. People are scared of Uranus. I'm such a Uranian. I'm a fan. I just it plugs in your car so it can charge. You know what I mean? If you have been seeking motivation, welcome. It starts April 26th, right?
Yay.
Pluto is trine your Mars. That's a spectacular transit. It empowers you to excavate your motivations and make progress. It empowers you to be impactful in your actions. Both of these are great for fucking too. You know, it's off topic,
Fair.
but worth naming. Yeah. They're great for, especially if you're like, I'm imagining if you're grieving, you're like disconnected from your body and not feeling as like saucy. These transits can like, again, plug in your car and just kind of like return you to your body a little bit and like have you have fun times with random people or with old people in random ways. It's different. That's Uranus for you. In
Yeah.
regards to these transits, the reason why they occur and the reason why they're occurring now is to help you change what you do, to change your motivation. My hope. Because what does Mars do in your chart? It sextiles your sun and it squares your moon. So it's how you feel. It's how you show up in relationship. It's how you show up in the world and it's how you feel. And so these planets are stimulating you in your body, Mars. And that means either you're going to use feats of strength to evade your body so you don't have to feel your feelings, or you're going to choose to tap into your feelings in your body, right? That's what these transits are trying to get you to do. And unfortunately, it can bring up ego conflicts and arguments, but that's because it forces you to choose a side, take a stand, do a thing. So my hope for you is that you choose you, not instead of other people. It's just you choose you and ask them to follow your lead. You know, that's what you would tell your kids to do.
Yeah. I guess worried maybe wasn't quite the right word. Is like nervous about harnessing them or like not
Harnessing the
utilizing
transits.
them. hmm It's just that all of these big ones are happening at the same time, right? You mentioned like the square and then
Mm-hmm.
the trine and then the conjunct. Like it's just a
So
lot.
this is my attitude about that. You don't have to harness anything. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. If you meet yourself where you're at, then you're doing the transits. The problem with how a lot of us engage with astrology, and this is not like a beginner versus a like advanced, it's just how a lot of us engage with astrology. As we say to ourselves, oh, this thing is happening. It's happening once in a lifetime. It's a big fucking deal. I've got to do something with it. I've got to do something about it. And I used to do that as well all the time. What I've come to find is that's not how life works. That's not how life works. All you can do is strive to be present and meet the moment knowing that you have the greatest innovator of the zodiac helping you along. You have the deepest feeler and transformer of the zodiac helping you along. So those are likely to be your themes, but you already fucking knew that. You already knew that's what was happening, right? I mean, Uranus hasn't come for your Mars yet, so we don't know how that's going to feel exactly. But nobody since the dawn of time has like missed Uranus. Either you dig in your heels and you insist on staying the same way you were, or you open yourself up to the unpredictability and the uncertainty and the chaos of choosing a new way or letting a new way choose you. So I don't think you have to like do anything to maximize these transits. Instead, what I would say is all the things I've already said. Meet your feelings, meet your feelings, meet your feelings, meet your feelings. If you don't think that's Mars, then you don't understand what an ego is. Meet your feelings.
Mhm.
Because again, I wasn't sure if you were hiding behind grief. Like that is a thing that we can do. You know, sadness can be very powerful and it can be an excuse. A lot of us use it as an excuse, right? I think you're doing the opposite of that. I think you're trying to pretend that you're not sad to the people because of how deeply fucking sad you are. And I want to encourage you to invite in that water that keeps on hitting your fucking rocks and just be like, sometimes that feels really fucking awful. And sometimes it feels like being connected to the universe. And sometimes it feels like caring for other people. And sometimes it feels like I just want to not do anything and like hide under the covers for a week. And instead of attaching meaning to each way it feels, it's honoring that moment and letting the water keep on like coming and pull back, right? So it's not being attached, and Uranus will help you with that. And the Mars trine will help you with that, actually. But that's really what we've been talking about, right? Is giving
Yeah.
yourself that gift. And hold on. There is one more thing that I'm keep on seeing. The behaviors that we've been talking about this whole time that you are having around how you are like compartmentalizing and distancing yourself from your feelings and trying to not be a burden on other people. It's like peak your dad. It's like super fucking your dad. So the fact that you like talk to your therapist about your mom and you talk to me about your mom is really interesting because if that bestie that like prompted you to even ask this question is your mom, that kind of makes you your dad. And so sorry.
Oh
I
no.
know. I know. I know. It's the sneak attack. It's the sneak attack. Um and your dad's life, I mean, he's such a smart, honestly, like he's got a weird streak that he's really tamped down. He has like a lyrical way of thinking. He's just a like a lovely creative man who has shoved himself into the smallest possible container he could fit himself into.
Yeah.
And he's so clearly not happy. He's not living at his capacity. He's living a fraction of what he could live. And that's his choice. It's not yours to manage. But you are doing what he did. And you have great reasons, right? But one thing I want to say is like, okay, this is actually useful to have empathy for him, to like kind of get him more, to recognize that
Yeah.
as different as the two of you seem and as different as he thinks the two of you are, you actually know better. You're very similar, very similar. And the other thing is, you know, you don't want to do what your dad does. Like you've no ambiguity about that whatsoever. So when you catch yourself telling yourself you should put it in a tiny box, I want you to remember that that's what you learned from your father and that's what your father does, because you know that that doesn't work actually. In the moment when you're trying to do it, you don't know. But like your wiser part knows. And your son is the one who's shown me this, right? Like he's like pointed the trails of connection between you and your dad this way.
Yeah.
And he's saying like the thing about the Uranus conjunction to Mars is it's a rebellious transit. And so rebel against your dad, the part of you that's like taken on the voice and the values of your dad of like be small, don't be too much, and instead allow yourself to rebel and to take up space and to take risks and to let people know you and to let people hold you or to let people disappoint you. so that you can have boundaries with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of reframing and
Yeah. It's a lot of
sitting in my
reframing.
body to do.
Yes. Yes. So after this, do you have time to yourself or do you have to go do something immediately afterwards?
I have time to myself.
Okay. Do you have a bathtub?
Yeah.
Could you like take an Epsom salt bath or something?
Hmm. Definitely.
So I want to encourage you to not go straight to note taking, but right. So don't go to your 6th house, go to your 12th house. So hang out in water or put your go to, some big ass body of water if you prefer that. It's cold though, right?
Yeah, it's frozen.
I feel like just go in a bath. And the Epsom salts are there to like pull out toxins, right? That's the point. So just allow yourself to release whatever just kind of got like unfastened, kind of like set the intention in this bath that you're going to like let whatever strands just kind of got unfastened that are ready to go. You can let them go. And if nothing is released, nothing's released. It's fine. There's no timeline. It's about just opening up the possibility.
I kind of have this like image in my head of like the elephant getting just slightly smaller, making
I
slightly more
love
wiggle
that. I
room. Just
love
like
that.
just a
And
little more room.
I love that. And if it takes a long period of time, like years for the elephant to eventually be like pocket sized, because you don't want to actually like we don't want to get rid of the elephant actually, because it's a skill, it's a tool to be able to like, be like, okay, I'm not going to pay attention to the elephant in the room. I mean, that's helpful to have that skill. We just want it to be like the size of like a stuffy that you could easily manage and like put away instead of something that actually makes you small.
Yeah,
So give
like
yourself
it.
space with that. And I'm sorry I can't take all your grief from you because I would really like to do that. And I know it would be great for you if I could do that. And I'm so sorry that I can't do that.
My therapist likes to tell me that complicated grief comes with complicated gratitude,
I like
and
that.
kind of hold on to that one.
Yeah, I like
Like
that.
I have grief because I'm so grateful for my baby and I love him so much. I do love him so
Yes,
much. So
yeah. It's
big time.
it's hard and messy and also he's like just,
He's vibing.
he's vibing. He's like pure like sunlight is the best way I can put him. He's like just like radiant, like radiates at the vibrations of sun. He's really amazing. So I'm really glad about that.
It makes sense. Just based on who he is, who he was. It just
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Is and was. It's at the same time, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, my dear, I'm really glad we did this. And I know it's stirred a lot. So I hope you take really like gentle, spacious care of yourself.
Will do. Thank you
Okay.
so much. I'm
It's
very
totally my
grateful.
pleasure. It's so my pleasure.
Every year they say the end is near, but we're still here.